Kruger, what's going on?
Hey, Egg, what's up?
Happy Thursday.
Same to you.
We were just trying to stream the Red Sox game live, and Nesson has watched Nesson live, but it's not live. It's not up to date, so I don't know why it's on the website. But we're stuck watching the Spurs and the Pelicans on TNT. There's no one there.
For an 11th place team, the Pelicans are on national TV a lot.
I think they had a lot of the NBA basketball people thought Anthony Davis would
Well, they did make the playoffs last year. So.
Did they make the playoffs?
Yeah, they were the 8th seed last year. They snuck in, and they were a feel-good story, and that good feeling's gone.
Well, they took a big step backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, next hour is going to be Pelicans talk. So we'll talk a lot. Anthony Davis, nice. I'd like to have him on the Celtics. Although the Celtics, we also were just talking about the fact that you and Greg keep texting me during the Celtics games, saying describing plays or man, they look so good right now, and I can't watch them. I don't have Comcast, so they'd be nice to have Anthony Davis. They don't really need him right now, huh? They're still holding down the 3rd seed.
And they're creating space as well.
They're creating space of a game and a half, 2 games.
I think they're up 2 games up on the Heat.
On the Heat.
I think they're up like 3 or 4 on the Hawks for a first round home field or home court advantage.
So I can't remember. Okay, so I made the statement at the beginning of the basketball season, and I thought they had enough talent. And Brad Stevens was a good enough coach to propel them to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. I'll have to get that audio and play it back. I felt confident saying it. I think I believed it. That's why I said it. But they're really, real life sitting in the 3rd seed. Are they blowing away your expectations of what you thought?
I think at this point, yes. But I think we can go back, and you probably also had them in the 4th seed because you probably looked at the Eastern Conference and said they weren't that good.
Yeah.
Am I right? Where you kind of looked around, but now they're starting to just separate themselves. They're 12 games over 500.
I mean, the Raptors and the Cavaliers are the only teams better than them.
Right now. Correct.
I thought, the Pacers I thought would be decent, and Paul George coming back.
Yeah.
The Hawks, I thought they would slip a little bit. I thought the Raptors would slip a little bit, honestly, too. The Knicks have been a complete disaster.
Well, they got off hot. Now they're a disaster.
It's like New York Knicks fever.
Yep.
Something happened there. They got rid of Derek Fisher, and who the hell knows?
Well,
but
I think for me, and I texted you this on Saturday after they beat the Heat. I'm expecting them to win now.
Yeah.
I'm done hearing these national guys saying it's a feel-good story. I think they're a good team. It's the bottom line.
Well, Portland came to town last
Portland
night.
was won 14 out of the last 16.
I was gonna say Portland's been on a nice little hot
streak.
streak.
They've separated themselves getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're 4 or 5 up in the for the second last.
They're a Western Conference playoff team.
Western Conference playoff
coming
team.
into Boston.
They get down 10 and win by what? 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Celtics, I watched the highlights and
they outscored them in the second and third quarter 64-37.
Wow. A part of me was waiting for Jared Sullinger to get hurt.
Yep.
And I realized he's still playing, and it's now March.
Yep.
So I think having him around, he's going to fill up the stat sheet, and he's going to move his body around and give you 15 and 10.
Yep.
Out there. And I think he had 15 and 11 last night. You got the scorer in Isaiah Thomas, the defenders in Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart. Jay Crowder, I think, a little bit of an inspirational leader.
Yeah.
Seems like he gets along with his teammates. Yep. Coachable guy. Who knows? Who knows? Evan Turner. I'm a big Evan Turner guy, too.
Yeah, Amir Johnson.
Amir Johnson.
It's I just think it's a good mix, and they're a good basketball team. Now, am I expecting them to take the Warriors down in 7 games? No, but at this, I was listening to the I didn't get to listen to the game because I was at work, but I was listening to the post game, and I don't know who was post game. He said, "Right now, I sit as this team as a contender for the Eastern Conference Finals."
Wow,
and you think about it, they should be. They should be a contender to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, do you see them winning the first round of the playoffs? Say they get matched up with Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So your expectations now are to hold on to that 3 seed. Do you see them climbing to the 2 seed?
I think that'd be tough.
Toronto
I think
sliding?
that'd be tough.
Toronto's
I think there's
decent.
4. I think there's 4 games between them.
What?
No, 4 games between.
Oh,
No,
yeah, gotcha,
now,
gotcha.
but back to that point though, is I think they've only played each other once, so they've got some games with them, at least 2 more with them. So, who knows?
Yeah, so expect.
And I don't think you sit on the schedule and like fear going to Toronto.
No,
No.
gets pretty crazy up there. in Canada. Drake sitting
Yeah.
courtside. The GM seems kind of ruthless too, yelling and
Yeah.
cursing at people, and so Celtics, you'll expect them to get first round victory, second
I mean,
round.
look,
You telling me Eastern Conference Finals?
No, I'm not going to sit here and say whoever they play in the first round, they're going to sweep them. I've told you from the beginning. So you look below, right? The Heat. Heat don't scare me. Told you that since day one. The Hawks, they don't scare me either. And then that mix mash of the Hornets, Pistons, Bulls, Pacers. I think the Bulls are the 9 seed right now. They're
Bulls
out of the
might
playoffs.
not make
yeah.
the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
And I read today that the Ainge called the Bulls about Jimmy Butler.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that Ainge just went to every team and asked for their best player.
They see Danny's name pop up
Yeah.
on this caller ID. They're like,
Hey, you know what? You might as well ask. You know, what's the worst? They say nope.
yeah, it's yeah, they held tight at the deadline, and did David Lee end up joining the Mavericks?
Yes, and he's been playing really well. Actually,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought he was. I didn't expect him to put up 15 and 10 every
Yeah.
night, but I expected him to contribute.
Well, I think we
Something happened
we
there.
talked about it a couple of weeks. Probably something happened there, but at the same time, maybe the team just developed more than they thought. Like they said, hey, this is your role
Yeah.
until so and so develops or something happens, and I think whatever happened, it just kind of was fast paced, and they didn't really need him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we talked about, your job is done here. You know?
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah.
All right, so Eastern Conference. Is it me or has LeBron James kind of fallen into
Oblivion?
What?
Oblivion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. I wasn't sure if that was the right word, but yeah, that oblivion.
Yeah.
Has he kind of disappeared the last?
So I was watching
What's
something
going on with
today.
him?
First of all, they have like 5 days off. They played on Sunday and don't play again
And
until
he
tomorrow.
didn't play. I don't.
No, and he
took
didn't
the day
play.
off.
He took the day off. He
Fallen sick.
he flew down to Miami and they were, I think, just for like a day or two vacation, and Dwayne Wade put like an Instagram video of him and both of them working out together down in Miami. It's just weird.
Listen. I'll go on my LeBron James tangent for this
Yeah.
podcast. He hasn't murdered anyone.
Nope.
As far as I know, he hasn't done any drugs.
Or anything stupid.
Nothing stupid.
Yeah.
No name calling. He just seems like a entitled prick.
Well, my first thing is all right. You have a large break in the middle of the season. That's great if you're that team, but you don't have practice.
You just fired your coach a month or two
Yeah,
ago.
well, okay. So let's say you have 5 that you're probably going to give them the first day off. That's fine. Hey, take the day off, but you're probably not going to have 2 days in a row off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, does it bother you? You watch the Cavs.
Or did he fly after the game? Hey, where are you going? Miami.
Yeah, I feel like as a leader, you should be.
With
As
your
a
team.
leader and coach of that team,
Yeah.
you should be there supporting him. If
Yeah.
not sitting on the bench, sitting on the row behind.
Yeah.
One thing that bothers me with him, and maybe it happens in other teams, I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
He sits out the first X amount of minutes of the second quarter of
Yeah.
any game, and usually around the 8-minute mark or 6-minute mark, 7, whatever, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
he gets up to go back in the game.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times where he's gotten up earlier. Like
Yeah.
the Cavs will turn the ball over. It'll be 9 minutes left, 10 minutes left.
Yep.
And he gets up and walks over to the scorer's table.
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue does not come over. David Blatt does not come over and tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, LeBron, or
Yeah.
LeBron, get back in.
Yeah.
He gets up on his own and goes in. Do you have a problem with that? Is that taking initiative, being the star player, the leader? Or is that just being a prick and not listening to your coach? Like, what if the coach doesn't want him in?
Then you got to say something.
But then what? You're gonna tell LeBron? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, isn't
it's
that
got
weird?
yeah. I think it's
Does that
weird.
happen?
The only thing that bothers me with the NBA is the way, especially this time of year, is minutes are managed to a T. When everyone's going in,
Yeah.
when they're coming out. They're out for the first 4 of the second. They're
Yeah.
and even game situations doesn't change it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah, like if they're going on a run.
yeah, they don't stay in. Nope, it's time for LeBron to come out.
Yeah.
Or if they're getting down big, nope, got to wait another minute or two.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Actually,
That's I get it. I never played 82 basketball games, but it's just weird how. So, like, I guess in a Major League Baseball season, you don't pull a pitcher because, well, they maybe, but you don't pull them after 4. Like, oh, this is it. Sorry, April or August says you only throw 4 a game.
My knee started to hurt just talking about how much basketball. Real quick story. Yesterday, Lee goes grocery shopping, comes home. I'll go get the groceries. I try to be the strong husband. Do you ever grab the groceries and you think you can just take them all in at once?
Yep, absolutely. Every Saturday morning.
Grabbed every single bag, walked it up the stairs, got in the house, lifted them up to put them on the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
And it felt like somebody took some electric cords and was electrocuting me in the back.
Yeah.
Went down to the floor on all fours, spasming like crazy. Never ever had back spasms before. You ever had back spasms?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holy smokes. So I'm on all fours on the kitchen screaming, right? Like I try to move my pinky. It's like, and Lee's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "It's not my heart. I'm good. Not having a heart attack. Just think I hurt my back."
Yeah.
I literally was on all fours for a good 20 minutes, and then I eventually got able to lie flat on my stomach.
Yeah.
I was probably on the floor for like 45 minutes. Like, don't touch me. I'm good.
That's the best place to be, hardwood floor.
Oh, man. It was scary. So anyways, I took a Motrin, and as I was on the floor, I was like, Lee, could get me a Motrin. Stayed there, tried to let it sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I got up. But holy snikes, man.
Yeah, it can come at you.
It was like, so anyways, today I'm real sore, but I thought it was my whole back, like upper mid back, but it's just my right side, and it's still sore, but it's not nearly as sore as it was yesterday. But it was my first experience. Like, I swear to you, in college, 4 years, Winnick baseball, never pulled a muscle, never hurt my elbow, but never did ribs, back, anything. Pulled hamstrings, calves.
Back muscles are tough. Oof.
Back's
you pull
thing.
a back muscle, it feels like you're ready to die.
Yeah.
You can't stand. I remember I couldn't stand straight up. You know,
Yeah.
you're like hunched over for everything.
Yeah.
You can't pick anything up.
Do you still get them? How did they
Every
go
once
away?
in a while. Every once in a while.
Were you on any meds or?
I usually just take
Rehab?
the ibuprofen or whatever.
Yeah.
Because look, the situation, we don't have time to go to rehab.
Yeah.
Unless it's serious, unless it's something really serious.
Yeah.
Our lives don't change. Our kids don't want to.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, daddy's back hurts. We're not going to play with him. Nope. It's you know what I'm saying? It doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Or Lee or Jen have to go to work even if daddy's back hurt. We don't have time.
Just talking about the long NBA season made my knee hurt, and then it reminded me of yesterday. So, anyways, next time a player's out because of back spasms, take your time, man.
Yeah.
I feel your pain. It happened to me in the kitchen on a Wednesday night, and it hurt like hell. All right, so jump over to the Western Conference. The Phoenix Suns. I just want to bring them up because they're sinking like a freaking.
Have they won since we've last talked?
I don't know. I don't.
They
think so.
They had lost 10 in a row the last time we talked. Have they won since? No, they beat the Nets, I think. Or no, excuse me. They beat the Grizzlies. It was like a playoff team they beat.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
All right. So you watch Saturday nights. All right. So we talked about this a few podcasts ago. NBA's trying something new on ABC. Saturday night primetime games. They've knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, so far.
All the games have been fantastic. The games have legitimately been the best games of the week.
Yes.
Which also means that it's almost been the Warriors every week.
Primetime, playoff-like atmosphere.
I guess the point when I texted you is I want to know if it's working because traditionally Saturday nights are the worst TV nights.
Yeah.
Because everyone's out doing something.
See, I'm just looking at it as though, hey, Krugs, what are you doing? Kids in bed? Okay, want to go grab a beer, watch the game.
I would
like
do
they
it,
want it to be something like that. Like, hey, it's like Sunday night football.
Yeah,
Hey.
and this week it's the Bulls and the Rockets. That game.
Oh, is it really?
Sucks, yeah,
Okay, that will
but up
suck.
to this point,
Michael Beasley.
up to this point, they've knocked it out, and they've been good games as well.
So last Saturday night, it was the Golden State Warriors in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Playing the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yep.
I started to watch the game. I was in and out of consciousness. I woke up in like overtime.
Yep.
And all hell broke loose.
Yep.
I can't even. Steph Curry got hurt, and then he came back. So going into the game, Steph Curry needed 10 3-pointers to tie the single season record.
Yep. It's and
Okay.
this is not even in March yet.
And we're at the end of February.
Yeah.
He needed 10. The NBA record for threes in a game, I think, is 12.
Yep.
Was 12. Also, if the Warriors won, they clinched a playoff berth.
Correct.
Again, before March 1st.
Yep.
So, I can't even. Was it Andre Iguodala got fouled at the end of? It was a crazy play to
Yeah.
end regulation.
Yep.
Where the time should have ran out, and Oklahoma City should have got the ball, and somehow AI ends up with it, shooting 2 free throws,
Yep.
ties it up, and sends it into overtime. So, not only does Steph Curry hit 12 3-pointers in the game
Yep.
to tie the single game at record, but he breaks his season record.
Yep.
He's might surpass 400 if he hits 10 a game. But his last one was the game winner,
Yeah.
and he crossed midcourt, took 3 or 4 steps,
Yep.
with 3 or 4 seconds left,
And just pulled up.
and he just straight pulled up. He legitimately pulled up from half court to
Yep.
hit the game-winning 3 with like enough time left on
And
the
it wasn't
clock,
like a heave. Like, it was a legitimate shot.
and he hits it.
Yeah.
And
it was unbelievable.
it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't know if I sent you the clip of somebody took a video of all his 3-pointers that were 28 feet
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw that. But essentially, he's 28 feet. How long's the 3-point line? 25? That's
Yeah. I think it's like, I think there's an inches in like 20, 25 feet. Like, yeah.
anywhere from 2 to 4 feet behind the 3-point line. Somebody put together all these videos of Steph and his 3-pointers he hit all year. And each one he shot, you would expect like time running out,
Yep.
shot clock expiring, 2 seconds on the game clock. Some of these shots he takes are from 3 feet behind the 3-point line with 15 seconds to go on the
Yeah.
shot clock.
Absolutely.
And the confidence that this guy has, and
When I was watching that, the first thing, and I watched the replay over and over again, I really think when he has the ball, the only thing he's worried about is setting his feet. He feels confident he can shoot it from anywhere as long as he can get his feet
there were
set.
a couple threes in that game he didn't even set his feet.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
When he got that ball, he said, all I need to do is find a rhythm and set my feet, whether it's 25, 35.
he said that
Yeah.
with the dribble. He was trying to
yeah.
time it off the dribble.
Which amazes me. He doesn't think about how close he has to get. He's thinking about getting his feet set.
Man, pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's jaws were dropped. So he's having some success. Steph Curry, this isn't like he's has a 2-week. So Oscar Robertson came out, essentially said he couldn't do it back in the day when
Yep.
Oscar Robertson played.
Mhm.
Steph Curry couldn't do what he's doing now because they played real defense and
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then I think Phil Jackson tweeted something out about Sharif Abdul-Rahim and how he got hot for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm shaking my head, and it's not like Steph Curry's been hitting threes nonstop for the last 2 weeks.
It's been
He's
about
been-
5 years.
Yeah, he's been doing this consistently for a while, and he's won a championship, and he wasn't the Finals MVP, but
He was the NBA MVP.
he's
then.
NBA MVP. This isn't a flash in the pan. This
Yeah.
is the real deal. Whether it's 1940 or 2016.
Why don't they just enjoy it?
A couple people came out and said that. Why don't you sit back, enjoy it, and just
Look, you can never compare eras because they're all different, and I don't understand why they have to criticize them. What's the big deal?
I don't know. Jealousy, maybe?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's compare.
I mean, Phil Jackson, they're going after that, his team's wins record, and
Yeah.
is he jealous of that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's harder to do now
Yeah.
than it was then. But you think the Warriors are going to hold on and break this, or what?
Up until about 2 weeks ago, I would have still said no. I'm going to say yes now.
We're getting really close.
54-5.
Yeah, 54-5. So
So they have to go 19-4 the rest of the way.
which is doable.
I mean,
They
yeah.
started 6-0, 22-0.
Yeah.
Say they get 73 wins, 73-9. Are they the best team in NBA history?
So I started thinking about it. I started thinking about more just in context. Someone brought it up, and I never even thought about it. Is their regular season right now is approaching like the 16-0 regular season? Like how amazing it is. And so the first thing, naturally, I thought, well, the Patriots didn't finish that season off. But you really look in NFL playoffs, it's more of a crapshoot because it's one game. Where the NBA playoffs, you've got to win 4 games.
Yeah.
So you're going to beat a team 4 games amongst 4 out of 7 games against a team that's only lost 9 in 82.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what they're doing.
Is it, say they do break the wins record, but they don't win the championship, which I do think they're going to win the championship. I don't think the Clippers are hot, but when push comes to shove, I don't think they can keep it together.
No.
Just my opinion.
I do think Doc's done a great job with that team. I think they're...
Has he, though? Because
I think so.
Aren't they kind of loaded?
They are. They're a good team. I mean, they're not...
Like, when you say Doc's done a good job with that team, what do you mean?
I think that with Blake Griffin, there could have been a breaking point there, and he's kept them together. They've been a little beat up. Reddick got hurt last night.
Yeah.
It was one of those injuries where he didn't even go to the bench. He just went right to the the locker room.
What was it?
I think it was his ankle. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I don't think he broke anything, but it wasn't like, oh, let's massage him, see if we can get back in.
It was like, no, I'm hurt. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm hurt. I got to go to the locker room.
Yeah.
And they were down big last night. The Thunder, there's concern there. They've blown a bunch of leads against good teams.
It's just not. Charles Barkley was talking about it earlier, and he mentioned how they threw Scott Brooks under the bus and kind of
Yeah.
pushed him out, maybe blamed it on him. It's the same team,
Yeah.
right? And was it Steve Donovan?
Yep.
This is the coach
Billy
there?
Donovan.
Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
Yes, Billy Donovan. I mean, first year NBA coach coming from college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walks into a great situation. He's got a good team,
Yeah.
But I mean, what is the problem? Is it Durant and Westbrook? Is it that they don't have anything enough behind Durant and Westbrook?
Shaq said trust. They don't trust each other.
Okay.
They have the mindset. Russell Westbrook has the mindset that they're down by 10. He has to go and score 10 points.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has the mindset. They're down by 10.
And
he
as
has
much
to go.
as we've talked about how much we love Russell Westbrook, he's been awful in the fourth quarters.
Has he?
Yeah, been terrible. Someone brought up some numbers. He's shooting like 20% in the fourth quarter.
Is he really?
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's not like he hasn't been there. He's been to NBA Finals, so I don't think it's a matter of him choking.
Yeah.
It's just maybe he's pressing, trying to do too much. You watch that, and I watched especially the beginning of the game, that Saturday night game against the Warriors. They came out with a purpose. They did. That was a game that they had circled. Whether it be they just wanted to beat him or they said, hey, we need to prove that we can beat these guys.
Yeah.
And the place was fired up, and they were fired up, and they came out hot.
Yeah.
And it didn't even faze the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was one of those slow creep back in. Like, we were down 15, now we're down 10, now we're down 8. Then you look up and they're down 5,
Well, that's the thing is you can be up 15 on the Warriors, and then before you even blink or breathe, you're up by 4.
And Westbrook was awesome. I texted someone. I go, he's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome that game. Struggled in the fourth and the overtime.
Just circling back real quick to the Doc Rivers thing. So
Yeah.
this is what I like to do, right? Especially with the errors and coaches. Let's even circle back further. Like you said, you can't compare errors.
Yeah.
Okay, take Bill. I don't want to do that. Take Oscar Robertson and put him in today's game. And I'm not too familiar with Oscar Robertson's game, so take Bill Russell.
Yep.
Or even Lee's dad said to me the other day, asked me if I ever saw any footage of Bob Cousy,
Yeah.
and just said he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like if you took them and put them in today's game, they get put Bill Russell up against Shaq,
Yeah.
right? Like, doesn't Bill Russell strike you as an undersized center, kind of more of a power forward? It'd be like Bill Russell and like Karl Malone, maybe.
Well, I mean, I would even extend it to take Shaq.
Well, put him back there.
No, I would say even take Shaq and put him in today's game.
Oh.
All right, let me throw this out there. How
Okay.
many 7-foot centers are there in the NBA that you just plop in the middle
Right now?
right now? You just throw them in the middle and say, dunk, do this.
Probably Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. I mean, Anthony Davis, he's taking threes. He's on the he's
Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki's 7 foot. He's he's not playing down low
Tyson
consistently.
Chandler maybe with Phoenix.
So I think the game's changed.
Yeah.
But I think if you go back, I think there was a lot more. I think there was probably overall better shooters, like percentage-wise. Like I was watching something. They were talking about the Warriors and the Bulls, and they were kind of not necessarily the Bulls, but just comparing it to that area to now. And statistically, kind of like one of those war statistics, statistically, the era that Jordan played in was a better offensive era than it is now. Now there's just more points because people are taking more shots. It's that theory where we always say about Carmelo Anthony, yeah, he's going to get 25 points because he's taking 40 shots. You're bound to hit 10 of them, So that the point is back then they were just more efficient with it,
Well, doesn't it seem like that's what's appealing about Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Is he's not taking 40
He's
shots
not
a game.
taking-
He's finishing 16 of 24 from the field.
Yeah.
He's finishing 12 of 14 from three-point land.
Yeah.
He's hitting 10 of 10 from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was, you go back and look some of those box scores back in the 90s.
Yep.
He was taking 42 shots a game,
Yeah.
35 shots a game to get his 40 points. Same with Kobe.
Yeah.
He scored 81 points a
Kobe's
few years
huge with
back.
that.
But how many shots did he take?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, okay. So you ruined my player error theory. What about coaches and do it now?
Yep.
Or this is the other thing I like to do for modern day.
Yep.
You think Doc Rivers has done a good job with the Clippers?
I do.
I say the Clippers are loaded and Chris Paul's running that team. And
Yep.
Doc Rivers is a babysitter, and he's not even doing a good job of that because Blake Griffin punched a trainer, and he's out for like
Yeah.
6 months. Not 6 months, but you know what I mean. All right, take Doc Rivers off the Clippers, put him on the Celtics. Take Brad Stevens off the Celtics, put him on the Clippers. How's Doc doing in Boston? Are they a 3rd seed? Are they a 3 seed? How are the Clippers doing? Are they a 3 or 4 seed in the West? Are they not in the playoffs? Just from hindsight, my first reaction is Celtics aren't a playoff team. Doc Rivers gives up on that team. He doesn't know how to coach them.
I think that to your point, I think that both of their personalities fit their teams well. I think Doc's now saying that. Now flip it. I don't think Brad Stevens would have succeeded with the big three as well as Doc did.
You don't think so?
He would have succeeded because they had really good talent. But I think Doc had them buy into some things that they didn't buy into before.
But don't you think Brad Stevens is a smart enough guy to figure that out?
Yeah.
So I guess my point is, 10, 15 years from now, we're going to look back and say, Doc Rivers was the Clippers coach for 5 or 6 years, and his record was, 450 and 210.
And always was in the top 4 seeds and kind of got to this
So he was a good coach.
Conference semifinals, but never won the big one.
But
Yeah.
we're living in the era, and we know that the Clippers are really talented.
Yeah.
And they should probably be content. They should be in the Western Conference Finals, if not in the finals.
Yeah.
And they have yet to get over that peak, and who knows if they will.
And they
Now, in the meantime, you look at Brad Stevens 10,
Yep.
15 years from now or longer, and you say he coached the Celtics for 5 or 6 years, and his record was closer to 500,
Yep.
but he took a team without a proven superstar. I
And
mean,
made
Isaiah
that-
Thomas is close,
Yeah.
an all-star. Isaiah Thomas is an all-star.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, and they made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
We know that Brad Stevens is doing a better coaching job right now than Doc Rivers.
Absolutely.
But I just think looking from
Well, I think it's just, you can look the opposite way with Phil Jackson. There's people who have 12, 11 rings.
I think he has 11.
And there's people that say, well, I could have won 11 rings with that talent.
But isn't that kind of true? He had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, right?
Yep.
B.J. Armstrong, Tony Kukoc, all those guys on the
Steve
Bulls.
Kerr, all
Steve
those.
Kerr.
Yeah.
He leaves the Bulls, and because of the success he had with Chicago, he goes to the Lakers.
Yep.
And he has Shaq and Kobe,
Yep.
and big shot Bob Horry, Robert Horry.
Yep.
He brings back Rodman a little bit. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, two of the best NBA players ever.
In the same lineup.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's almost, now, then you said Phil Jackson, he takes the role over with New York, the Knicks.
Yeah.
And, he's not coaching. He's trying to put a team together.
He's not very good at
He's
it.
not good at it.
Well, same thing with Jordan. He hasn't been great at is he the GM or the president
He's
of
like
basketball?
an owner,
Yeah.
part owner type thing. I don't know. I sometimes it's weird, right? Because like we can agree that Greg Popovich in San Antonio,
Yeah.
like he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
You know, I can say Doc Rivers is overrated.
Yeah.
You can say he's a good coach. Then you can look at Brad Stevens and, you know, I don't know if the Celtics would be where they are right now if they had somebody else coaching that team. If they had Billy Donovan coaching that team,
No, I agree.
or if they had Rick Carlisle coaching that team.
Yeah.
I don't, or Stan Van Gundy. Imagine
They would
Stan
not be
Van
there with
Gundy.
Stan Van Gundy.
So I just, it's all relevant and it
Yeah.
depends on the situation. But, if you ask me right now, who would you want to be the head coach for the next 10 years, willing they're going to stay for 10 years, I would say Brad Stevens over Doc Rivers. But that's just my opinion.
No, I don't
My little
necessarily
rant.
disagree.
My little rant. Yeah, so anyways, Warriors are back at it tonight with the Thunder. I believe the game's back in Golden State, so I don't expect.
I don't think.
Did I say Clippers or Warriors? Warriors and Thunder.
Warriors and
Golden
Thunders,
State.
yeah.
Steph Curry sat out the last game because of the sore ankle.
It's funny. They won in overtime. They beat the Hawks in overtime at home, and naturally you're thinking, "Whoa, what happened there?" And I didn't realize Steph Curry didn't play because it was a 10:30 game. I wasn't watching it. I just
That's
saw
the
the
tough thing
highlight.
though about
The Warriors.
the Warriors.
They're late games.
West Coast.
Yeah.
So they're starting these games at 10:30.
Yeah.
So you see highlights but enjoy the ride. Who knows when it's going to happen again? We'll see if they break the record or not. But switching gears a little bit, let's touch on football.
Yep.
For a hot second. Deflategate's back in the news. It seems like I honest to God, I don't even know where they're at right now. The appeals getting appealed by the appeal by new judges.
Yeah.
You texted me today and said you think it's going to be back in the news locally at least.
Yep.
Dominating sports radio, and you think that the suspension is going to be back on? You think Brady's suspension is going to be?
It wasn't a good day for Tom Brady today.
Yeah,
The appeal judges kind of got after Jeffrey Kessler a little bit.
yeah.
So I didn't read a ton into it, but basically, what it sounds like is now you don't know what it's going to take months for them to make a decision. I heard at the earliest is summertime, so we're not going to get a decision by the end of the week. They're basically and this is the one thing that all Patriots fans feared is they basically are kind of saying, well, whether you like it or not, Roger Goodell had the right to do this because you as the players allowed him to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Yeah.
So the way I heard it is they basically said that Judge Berman, the guy who overturned it, ruled based on the facts. It looks like these appellate judges are going to rule based on the law, which says the labor law says you kind of got to go with what you agreed with, and you guys agreed to let Goodell do this, and he's going to do it.
This thing has spun out of control big time.
Now, the other thing that I'm surprised no one talked to is, let's say it is overturned, you can just go to a Supreme Court. Brady's going to just appeal to a Supreme Court. So they're probably going to get a stay, meaning, again, you can't, it's not like you're appealing money. So if he serves the 4 games, you can't get those 4 games back. So if he appeals, you're going to have to give him a stay to say before the final decision's made.
Yeah.
That's probably another year, I would think.
It's nuts.
It's not going anywhere. It's crazy.
ESPN came out too, and essentially they addressed the way they handled Deflategate.
I saw that.
And I read it briefly.
I got chills just thinking about it today. I started reading stuff about it. I'm like, whoa. I feel like I just left rehab from the first round, and I've got to.
It was interesting to me for a little while, and now I the more I step back, like it's kind of ridiculous how far along this has gone.
I think people are because I was driving in when the actual thing was happening. And I was listening to the radio a little bit, and there was people definitely talking about it, but not to the 6 hours extent that they did before. I think people are like, all right, like it's. I think they know this isn't being solved anytime soon. Yeah. Meaning, even if it is overturned, he's going to appeal again. And someone told me if the NFL loses this, they can appeal too to the Supreme Court.
Why not just move on both sides? I mean, I understand why Brady
And
wouldn't move on.
even the NFL's lawyer, I don't remember his name, Clement or something.
Yeah.
He was like, whatever. Basically, at the end, he's like, whatever you decide to do, this needs to be done quicker, sooner rather than later, because we don't want this. This is
Right.
This is getting ridiculous.
So the
Yeah.
NFL, right? Like,
Yeah.
can't why they're like Brady? You're not gonna give up. You fought this long. You might as well not give up because there are 4 games. And
Yeah.
what was that? 25% of the regular season,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
that could, you know,
You can go out 1-3. That could end your year.
yeah, it could finish your year. So if you're Brady, you're more likely not to give up. If you're the NFL, like, aren't you just okay? Fine, like. We made the effort to fight it. We suspended him. It's out of our hands. Just, God, like, move on.
They're like 20 million deep in it too. Like it's getting ridiculous.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The price tag of this is up in the 20s of millions of dollars. So, getting away from Deflategate, Brady did sign a 2-year extension.
Correct. Yep.
Which will take him to a playing age of 42 years old.
Yep.
I think through the year 2019.
Yep. He was signed through 2017.
Does that matter to you, I guess? Does that mean anything? A 2-year
No,
extension?
I think it ends up helping the cap.
Yeah.
You know, I can never. I read this stuff and he's making $5 million, but his cap hits 8 or something. I think if you can extend the money and give it more in a bonus, it lowers the cap hit.
Like some of these guys, I thought I heard that Brady's cap hit was in like the $15-16 million range.
Yep.
But some of these guys, like Drew Brees,
It's close to 30.
Joe Flacco, like
Yeah.
legit $28-29
Yeah.
million cap hit.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Well, Flacco just did the same thing. The Ravens
stretched
were
it
like, so I saw some stats on Flacco that basically over the last, since he signed that big contract when he won the Super Bowl, his quarterback ranking out of 32 is 31.
No kidding.
Yeah, like he's been just horrifically bad.
Is he a 2-time?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
2012. So I think they kind of went to them and they said, hey, look, here's the situation. We've been pretty good. You haven't been. Your cap hit is huge.
Yeah.
Let's work something out, you know?
Man. Peyton Manning, big cap hit. So he hasn't made a decision yet. There was a
Nope.
rumor going around that he would make his decision. Woody Page
Yep.
came out and said that, I love these reports. Woody Page coming out and saying Peyton Manning is going to retire. He's
Yep.
going to announce it by the end of next
Yeah.
week. And who knows? Tomorrow's Friday. Maybe he'll do it Friday.
Yeah.
The Broncos are at a point, though, where they have to make a decision.
And from what I heard is the Broncos have basically have done everything to say, you know what, Peyton, you take your time and make your decision.
Not this much time.
Yeah. No, but like, so tomorrow they were supposed to buy, via his contract, he was supposed to have a physical to guarantee his next year's salary. And they said, they kind of went to him and said, look, you and I both know that physical is not going to go well for you. So rather than spare the embarrassment, we won't do the physical, and you just have to let us know by, March 8th if you're going to retire or not. Now, what I also heard is basically I think they've kind of also hinted to him, well, if you don't retire, we're going to cut you.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
which if you're Peyton Manning, you probably expected that, no?
So my initial reaction to the Broncos winning the Super Bowl and Peyton Manning getting a Super Bowl victory, second one of his career, go home, retire, sit on your thrones of money, go do reports with Jim Nantz and, do football games with Jim Nantz in the studio or whatever, in the booth. And then the other part of me goes, well, this Broncos defense is really good. And if Peyton Manning can just stay out of his own way.
But can he, though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But isn't it tempting?
The way
I
I
guess.
look at it as if you're Peyton Manning, specifically had a horrific year. You weren't
Terrible.
good.
God-awful.
Terrible year.
Yeah.
But your defense carried you, and you know what? You made some plays here and there. And if you were to call it quits now, we look 4 years down the road. No one's going to remember how bad you were. They're just going to remember you were the Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you were able to, manage the game. And because really in the playoffs, he wasn't terrible in the playoffs. He just didn't make any bad mistakes, and but you come back with a team that, you're going to lose some guys. They're, in this cap situation. They franchised Von Miller, but, what's his name? Malik Jackson or Johnson or whatever. He's probably gone. And, so just you don't know if you can duplicate it. Or you do something stupid like go to the Los Angeles Rams, where it's an average team. You're just going to make yourself look bad because you don't have that defense to carry you.
Right. So what's taking him so long then?
I have no idea.
Do you think he's waiting for like the presidential debate stuff to calm down so then he can have the spotlight to himself?
I never thought of that.
Super Tuesday. I mean, March 15th, decision by March 8th. I think there's a debate tonight. Well, he's the type of guy.
March 9th, which is next Tuesday?
Today's the 3rd. Yesterday was the 2nd. So
the next Wednesday is the
ninth.
start of the new league year on the NFL calendar. I don't know if that means that they need a decision by then, but I know that's when the new league year starts. And I imagine right after that is when free agency, fairly shortly after that.
Okay.
You would think that'd be the date because going into the next year, that's when your cap starts to, that's when your new cap. Because you see everyone's getting cut now because they can adjust the cap.
Yeah, Falcons cut Roddy White, longtime leading receiver, I think, in the Falcons.
Arian Foster got cut.
Yeah, Arian Foster got cut. Patriots cut JoJo LaFell.
Yep.
And Scott Chandler, which two disappointments this year, I'd say.
You know what is weird about LaFell is he was actually really good last year. He got off to a slow start.
Yeah.
Then when everyone else clicked, he started to click, and I don't know if it was that first game where he dropped like 6 or 7
so many passes,
and he was wide open, and it was just.
Yeah,
I think he was a cut candidate anyways, just because he had a high number.
Yeah.
But you figured they would have maybe worked a deal out where they could extend him a little bit.
Yeah.
Chandler was just awful.
Moving on to baseball. Let's talk some baseball. Last 20 minutes. Got about 20 minutes.
40 minutes in, we haven't talked baseball.
I know. Baseball. Spring training has started. I don't know what the hell's going on. Panda's still fat, but he's not fat. Hanley Ramirez got a couple hits against BC. He's going to be MVP. He made a play in the field.
Yep.
I don't know. Has anything struck out to you from Red Sox camp? I mean, any surprises? Okay, well, let's talk about Rodriguez.
Yep.
Hurt his knee.
Yep.
I always feel like if you missed 3 days of spring training as a pitcher, I feel like that sets you back like a week and a half.
Probably at least one bullpen plus at least one throw day.
Right. So I feel like that sets you back probably a week.
Yeah.
Like double that amount of time. So Rodriguez comes out or sprains his knee. I thought I read reports that they thought it was real. Like I thought I read that he said he thought he broke it, which doesn't make sense. I don't know how you break your knee, but the reports came back and just a sprain, whatever. Yeah. Team comes out and says they still expect him to be ready for opening day.
Yeah,
which is pointless because he's not going to pitch opening day anyways. But whatever.
Yeah,
but don't you just feel like when they come out and say it that quick that he's probably not going to be ready?
Well, when he hurt himself, one of the reporters pointed out Christian Vasquez. Remember last year it started out as I'll just rest his elbow a couple days. It's just a little sore, little inflammation, and 2 weeks later he's having Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Which for a positional isn't as. You lose a year, but it's not like an 18-month process. It's more like an 8-9 month process.
But
you still lose a year. But the point is it started out with, hey, we'll give you a couple days up, ice it up, and we'll be good. And then before you know it, he's having surgery.
Yeah.
So it was, I was driving and I was thinking, that's one of those where they'll push it under the rug if it's serious. But that's a big loss because after Price, I feel like he's probably your one or two reliable guys.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't have that much faith in Rodriguez. I don't know why. He hasn't shown me. He's shown glimpses.
I just think that they're not thin number-wise in the starting rotation. They can call up a guy that you might know, but I just feel like he'd be a big loss if he was. If thank God he's not, but if he was out for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And it's just that feeling. Don't you always feel like when they get hurt in spring training, it just is.
It compiles.
So if you get hurt in the middle of the year, at least you've started the year healthy. You know what I'm saying? Where in the spring, it just slows everything down because you're doing certain things now to get ready for the it's just it always feels like if it happens in spring training, it takes another 3 weeks because you're that far behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why I think when they say
Where if you get
he's gonna
hurt
be
in
ready-
May, you got a base of I did all spring. I don't know.
No, that's
Yeah.
why when they say he's going to be ready for opening day, I'm like, no, he's not. And why are you coming out and saying that?
Yeah.
Because this isn't our first rodeo. Like we understand how it works.
Yeah.
The Christian Vasquez thing, and we talked about it, I think, a little last week, maybe a couple podcasts. I strongly feel the Sox think that's their guy.
Yep.
And they maybe wanted to develop Swihart a little longer, have him put on some size, whatever. If they want to do a two-prong approach, who knows?
Yep.
The Tommy John, I think you said it a couple minutes ago. Like, if you're a position player and you have Tommy John, it shouldn't be a little quicker turnaround.
It's like 8 months.
Yeah, it seems like this is something.
So we're pushing a year now.
And he's still having pain. He's getting shut down. He
Yeah.
should be ready to throw by this and that. Just from, I've never caught,
Yeah.
but you're a catcher.
Yeah.
Somebody, you throw it back to the pitcher, fine.
Yeah.
If that's all it was, fine. But there are points during the game where you may have to throw to third base,
Yep.
field a bunt, throw to third, field a bunt, throw to first, or somebody steals.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that sudden impact and like pitching, your constant motion.
Yeah.
You're used to throwing with velocity, throwing with oomph, and I feel like catching, you've got that like 10 throws,
Yeah.
and then the 11th throw is the ugh.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that would do more damage, or be longer to.
Well, it could be as simple as the surgery just didn't take the what do you call it? The ligament just didn't take on the surgery, which is the worst case, which is like doomsday because the second one is.
Well, did they sign Ryan Hannigan to a 2-year deal, or did they bring him back?
I think they brought him back.
Because don't you think maybe, okay, now we're trying to figure out why is he here?
Yeah.
Maybe they know something more.
Yeah.
Hannigan, and it's going to be Swihart and Hannigan, which I think Swihart's going to be a good ball player.
I mean, that's not. I like Vasquez a lot, but if you're going Swihart Hannigan, that's you could be in a lot worse situations.
Yeah.
It is concerning because he hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
He's not throwing every day.
Yeah.
He's again, like we've talked about. It's March 1st. He's being babied.
Yeah.
Baby me in July when you've caught 90 games.
Same with the Yankees. I saw Brett Gardner won't swing a bat until March 14th.
Yeah.
That to me is like, because he's got a wrist issue.
Wrists are tough with hitters. That could be really bad.
Wrist, elbows.
Yeah. Like I was watching Anibal Sanchez isn't throwing right now because his upper arm is inflamed.
Really?
Yeah, it's like what?
C.J. Wilson.
Cameron Maybin broke his wrist today.
What? Did he really?
Yeah.
Who's he with now?
The Tigers.
Oh, he's with Tigers.
Yep. Yeah, C.J. Wilson, same thing, inflamed shoulder after one
Threw
bullpen.
4 pitches.
Yeah.
Ooh, gotta shut
Yeah.
it down, coach.
Not feeling good.
Yeah, that last one. Ooh, got a little tingle. Yeah, baseball, spring training to me. I know you joke around and you say extend the season. It's a lot of baseball.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot of baseball everywhere, and there's a lot of time to get hurt. And I don't know.
It's nice this time of year because games are on like at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're just excited,
Yeah.
You get to mid to late March, you're like, all right, let's just get the season started. I
Yeah.
think the players, I imagine, get to that point.
Can I be honest with you, though? Because I wanted to watch some baseball this weekend, and I brought up the ESPN app on my phone or on my iPad, and it was just all college baseball, no MLB, and I put on, South Carolina versus Penn State or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, baseball. And then I was like, 2 pitches later,
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of boring. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it was college.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to make a concerted effort to watch more baseball this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. It was like, maybe it was the announcers or sometimes college angle. It was just weird, but I was like, oh, man, this kind of sucks. So I have yet to watch like an MLB game.
You know what? It's funny is Jen was home when we were watching the Red Sox played BC and Northeastern. She was all up in arms with Dave O'Brien because no Don Arcillo.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to her Dave O'Brien, this is not his first game he's ever broadcasted. He's been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
No, he's not Don. I was like, well, he's been doing the radio for the Red Sox for at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's not Don. I was like, well, He's actually been broadcasting MLB games for probably about 20 years. And it was a
How
back
was
and
he? Was he with Remy?
Yeah,
How was it?
pretty good.
Was it awkward or
A little
was it
bit.
Like,
I just felt the voices. Like, they seem good with each other, but just the voices are a little. And to an extent, I almost feel bad for Dave O'Brien because he didn't orchestrate this for sure. When it opened up, it's a great situation to be in. So I think it's going to be a little awkward for him because I think he understands the backlash, but it's also not his fault, At least that's how I feel, unless, I don't know.
I still think there's something else that went on. I
What's
feel
surprising?
like they went to him and offered him the job before they got rid
I
of.
wouldn't be surprised. Hey, look, this is what we're thinking about doing. Because they hired him fairly quickly afterwards.
Yeah.
I
Like it
also-
had been talked about.
I also read something that Lou Merloni's pretty bitter that he didn't get the radio job.
Really?
Yeah.
Who got the radio job? Some random guy, right?
Yeah, and I just listened to him, and it just doesn't sound right.
No?
Yeah.
We'll have to turn it on.
Yeah.
Um,
He's like from Pittsburgh or something. Like,
Really?
Yeah, just like he was a broadcaster with a random team. Like, not like anyone big name.
he'll be gone in a year. The media will be calling for his head. Lou Merloni will be sitting in the chair.
Joe Castiglione's complaining.
Is Bertrand still at Sports Hub?
Yeah.
God. I don't like him.
He's the midday guy with Zoe.
Has anything changed with sports radio? Because I haven't listened.
No, not really.
No.
Same old stuff.
Hawley is what's his face still with Dalen Hawley?
Thornton?
Yeah.
Yes, it's really weird. I can't do it. Too fanboyish for me.
Anything else from baseball? Any other surprises? Anyone change their numbers? Any big players? No.
No.
It's so early. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. It's like
MLB Network started to do those 30 clubs in 30 days.
Yeah.
I've been kind of soaking those in personally.
yeah.
They used to do it as like its own show.
Yo, they don't.
Now
that
they
anymore?
do it as part of MLB Tonight.
Oh, really?
So I like tape them, but I like fast forward just to get like, so it's like an hour show
Yeah.
for like 15 minutes of stuff. Where before it was like a 30-minute show for 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. They stopped doing that as their only, like, it used to be its own show. Now it's not.
Yeah. That was one of my. I liked that feature on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's early. I was gonna bring up a point. Marlins, no Bonds.
No one's done any, like, no controversy or.
Yeah. A-Rod hit a home run on the first pitch he saw
Who cares?
today.
Yeah.
Are you on Instagram yet?
No.
You gotta follow him. It is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
He's got a PR team.
Yeah.
And they're like, you gotta post pictures with puppies. You gotta post pictures with kids. You gotta be smiling. You gotta post pictures with, like, he posted a picture of himself with two other Yankees. They're out to dinner. Some like minor leaguer.
Yeah.
And then some other guy who I recognize, I can't think of. Just the three of them at dinner,
Yeah.
like, enjoying my time with my teammates. He's on such a push to make things right with the media,
Yep.
so that when his time comes
Yeah.
for the Hall, that he'll get voted in. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny because it's so obvious. So, I don't know. We're wrapping up. I mean, anything else you wanted to talk about or cover this week?
Funny story about our podcast last week. So you sent it to me on Friday, right? You sent it the next day.
Yeah. Next day delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got like 20 views.
We're up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start coming on time if we're going to be big time. I keep showing up 5, 10, 15 minutes late.
In my head, it's 8:15 start. So.
Yeah. So on Friday I had a cavity filled, and they put the numb your face,
Novocaine.
the Novocaine.
Yeah.
The noise and never bothered me. So
Really?
they're like, "Do you want to have headphones?" I'm like, "No one ever offered it." I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "What do I listen to?" She's like, "Well, they have like those little iPod minis. Like it's like contemporary music, like probably what your mom and my mom listens to. But they're like, it's better than the here and that." I was like, "Yeah, sure." Unless you have your own music. I was like, "No, I don't have iTunes anymore." So she gives it to me. I'm like, "Actually, give me my phone." I hook it up. I didn't listen to the whole podcast because it was only like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You got this woman that's that's holding the thing. The dentist is doing the filling, and then there's another woman in the room, and they're all like, "What is he listening to?"
That's funny.
So
Yeah, it's funny. I send it out on Friday, and then I usually get a couple views.
yeah,
And then Saturday, I check a few more views.
Yep.
Then like Monday, and it's like Monday's usually the last day. Like there aren't any other views added on after that. And I noticed this week there was like a couple more throughout the week. So.
do you have your Throwback Thursday?
No, I don't have a Throwback Thursday. I thought about that. What's today's date?
March 3rd.
Want me to look it up real quick?
Go for it. I thought we were gonna have some college basketball hot takes.
Oh no, we forgot all about that. Next week, March Madness. Because we ended last week's podcast about what do we talk about,
Yeah.
and then you texted me and you were like March Madness. I completely
Well,
forgot.
this weekend is when the regular season ends.
What, next weekend or this weekend?
This weekend is when the regular season ends. Next weekend is the conference tournaments,
Oh,
and the
okay.
following week is when the NCAA tournament starts.
I have noticed Michigan State Valentine. That kid's
Yep.
pretty good.
Kansas looks really good right now too.
I haven't seen. Don't sleep on Providence. They were doing good. I don't know if they're doing good.
They've
anymore.
struggled lately, but they have Chris Dunn. He's one of the best players in the country. He gets
Top
hot.
10 lottery pick,
Yeah.
maybe.
Probably, yeah. Is he wearing the green?
I don't know. The Nets. The Nets have like
They
the
don't need
fourth or
another
fifth
guard.
worst record right now.
The Nets have won lately.
I know.
They
It
cut
sucks.
Joe Johnson. They got hot.
Is he doing anything with Miami?
I
or-
haven't seen yet. No.
On this day in sports history. Yeah, my pick to win the final. Warriors Celtics finals. Warriors in 6. Imagine let's play this game though. Imagine if the Celtics made it to the finals. Wouldn't that be weird? That would be unprecedented because Vince Wilfork got married today. Back in 2004.
Really?
Yeah. But the Celtics don't have like that, drop dead.
Superstar, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I saw that Isaiah Thomas, like Tang Wei, I can't stand him, but shouldn't say I can't stand him. I just don't buy his shtick.
Yeah.
But he came out, and somebody else came out. Maybe it was Dickerson.
Yeah.
And said Isaiah Thomas isn't a guy you can build around.
Yeah.
And why would you say that? Like,
So they brought it up on one of the Felger and Maz, and they're like, so they said, if you put Isaiah Thomas on a championship, let's put Isaiah Thomas on the Warriors.
okay,
Not necessarily like where does he fit in, but just the player, talent. Well, where would he sit? And Maz was like, he's a good sixth man. I was like, are
for
you
the Warriors?
Yeah, like he's like on a championship team. He's a really good sixth man. I'm like, no, like he's.
Well, he was a really good sixth man before he started with the
Yeah.
Celtics.
I just think he's better than that. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I think he's better than that.
So Cleveland, throw him in there with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving. Like, would the Cavs be in the same spot they were if they had Thomas at point instead of Kyrie Irving?
Probably. Yeah.
I just, now Isaiah Thomas as a sixth man coming off the bench in Golden State, I can picture that.
Yeah. I guess so the first thing naturally what you think about is when Rondo was here and they were, with the big three. I just feel like Rondo fits so well with that group because I don't think I think Rondo knows he's terrible at shooting, so he doesn't want to do that, and he just fits so well that he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Where a guy like Isaiah Thomas might not fit that role because he wants to shoot, he wants his points,
Did you see DeMarcus Cousins? I don't know if it was Adams from the Thunder.
He almost knocked him like he was
guy, they got tangled up,
Yeah.
and I don't even think he was doing it intentionally, whoever it was.
Yeah.
And DeMarcus Cousins stopped once he got loose and turned to him, and the guy was sitting on the ground with his back turned to Cousins.
Yeah.
And Cousins cocked back his fist.
Yeah, he almost slugged
Like
him.
he was going to slug him and stopped himself.
Yeah.
And the guy on the ground didn't see it.
Yeah.
That's scary to me. And I know people keep saying, somebody said, I saw something somewhere saying, if you don't want DeMarcus Cousins on the Celtics team, you're an idiot. You don't know anything about basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
Are they the second seed with DeMarcus Cousins? Are they gonna? I just feel like that guy. I don't know. I just feel like Brad Stevens can work miracles, but I don't know.
So I think the way I look at it is, yeah, they need someone of talent such as DeMarcus Cousins, but they got such a good thing going. You worry you put that one bad apple in there and just kind of, even if you're, you know how you watch these teams and they're really good and then they just sputter out and then you kind of hear the rumors that they all hated each other and there was bad things going on.
Yeah.
You don't want that,
Yeah.
Not especially in the future too, because you look at this team now, you're saying, all right, we've got something going for the next couple of years. You don't want to ruin that by bringing him in.
Yeah. I'd sign a guy off the street instead of giving up pieces.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's this week. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's about it. Not bad for just not having any
yeah,
notes.
no notes
there.
today. We kind of want.
It really wasn't that exciting of a week.
No, it's true. We wung it or winged it.
We winged it. We winged it.
We wung it.
You said wung it. I'm like, what did you say?
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
We winged it. Next week we'll come better prepared. We'll be a little bit deeper into spring training. March Madness conference tournaments will be starting.
Yep.
NBA playoffs will be getting a little bit closer.
Hopefully your back will be healthy.
I think I'll be okay. My back will be healthy, and we'll get back into the swing of things next week.
Sounds good.
All right, later, Cruz.
All right, see ya.